Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.
I'm just jazzed about being on the show, man.
You are listening to The Objective Jerk, where objectiveness is the objective, and I am said jerk.
What's going on? It is I, the Objective Jerk. Or no, this is the Objective Jerk, and I'm said jerk. See, it's been so long, I forgot how I open up my podcast. It has been a long-ass minute. This is probably going to be a long episode, I think, because I don't think I'm going to be able to. But there it is. Hope everybody's doing well, and things are going good. I know it's kind of hard the way the economy and everything is, and I mean, for people in the States listening to this, and again, I got people in Germany, but I get, I think maybe it sounds conceited, but usually when, America's hurting, so is a lot of the rest of the world. But hopefully not. I hope not. But, anyway, so I've been just trying to keep myself busy. I'm trying to stay off social media as much as possible. And so I've been doing some what I call hobo remodeling, which is basically I'm remodeling my house like with no money, just what I've got. And you can get away with that here, which is weird. Like you can build and change things up here. It's different than in the States, Like I kind of did like a remodel for my dad's kitchen, and it was all right. I mean, it was pretty good, but that's not my forte, But I spent money though, new flooring, some new counters, and some various things. But here, things are different. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't want to get too much into it. But basically, I just totally so they have what they call a dirty kitchen, which I know I've spoken about before. And so our dirty kitchen, I just kind of moved everything that I can, and just I moved the oven and the fridge and this I guess you'd call it cupboard space, but it's open, and it's just where my wife was kind of storing in a lot of dishes that never got used. And so I was like, no, we're going to put the dishes that we use, and I'm all about having the things you use on a regular basis accessible, and the stuff you don't use very often, maybe you have to hunt for those or whatever. So my wife's not the most organized individual. Neither am I. I mean, I can be when I'm not in a shit mood. When I'm in a good mood, I'm organized. But trouble is I'm in my depressed mood a lot. So, that goes, for those that know, And then we tore down a wall, which made our living room bigger. It was actually a wall that we had built to give ourselves an extra room. But it really kind of, I don't know. It's so much better having it now. But it's all, just masonry blocks and concrete and rebar. So we just tore it down, myself and my kids and stuff last weekend. And a lot of work, but it's opens up the house a lot more, and it's much nicer. One of my kids though, he doesn't have a room right now, so we're working on finishing the front of the house, which was originally in a garage I had for my tools and stuff, but we're going to turn that into a bedroom. And so that's kind of what's been going on, and which is part of the reason why I haven't did a podcast forever. It's like I'm paying Buzzsprout and I'm halfway through the month already, and I haven't even put in a podcast yet. But this one's going to be long. Maybe I'll break it up. Probably not. So just for those watching, it probably won't be long. So I'm going to sound like an idiot. I think it's going to be long though, because I'm eager to talk about what the actual discussion that I'm going to talk about today, or the topic that I want to talk about today. So, let's see. So, just a little bit about me. I'm not like a huge like sports junkie, sports nut. You know, some people can watch anything. I mean, I can watch anything, I guess, on a come across something and watch something, but I'm not like a huge sports nut. And I love football, or I loved football. I got into baseball a little bit, but mainly because my roommate and my best friend was really big into baseball, and it was fun to go in Seattle, Safeco Field, and watch the Mariners and stuff. And then when I was in the Army, I got into UFC, which I still enjoy, but I haven't watched a UFC bout. I just kind of watch highlights and I keep tabs and stuff on it. But so moving here to the Philippines, it makes enjoying sports, and more specifically American sports, a little harder, I mean, I can watch if I want to, but the thing is like all the like political crap going on with the way football, with the COVID, and things like how Aaron Rodgers, he didn't want to do it, and they got like chastised for it, and the kneeling and the black national anthem. It's like, I don't know, I just think that's ridiculous. The national anthem is the black national anthem. It's the white national anthem. It's the Asian. It's for everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was written a long time ago when it was just whites. And, I get it, I guess. I can kind of understand it a little bit. But the thing is like, that is America, though, So it's like, I don't know, just all that kind of crap just kind of really turned me off, to where I just stopped paying attention more and more. And so now, like, I don't know, I just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to, I don't know, I just kind of quit. So I haven't really been following sports too much. I mean, I do kind of, like I said, I keep tabs on things, and I like watching LeBron fail. But I'm not like, and basketball is really big here, but I've never could get into basketball. I've tried, and I just don't. And then, so then I'm like, okay, so I need to find something that's here. So basketball's not it. So then I'm like, okay, I'll maybe rugby, My son played rugby the last year before we moved here. And I was just kind of starting to kind of like research it a little bit, because I was like lost, I did not get it at all. It was fun to watch, but I didn't know what was going on, but then when we moved here, that just completely stopped, But rugby's kind of popular here too. Well, I don't know. So I with my depression and everything, it's like I just am not excited about much. I don't look forward to anything. I lose track of the days of the week sometimes. I mean, a lot of that's just because, I'm retired, so I got nothing to do. That's kind of the problem, though, is like I should have something to do. You know what I mean? And so I don't know how this happened, but I know I found my sport now, and it is Formula One, baby. Holy shit. Like, I mean, I haven't been diagnosed ADHD, but I got it. You know what I mean? I have highs and lows and like intense focus, and I'll just, focus on something for a little bit, and then I get burnt out and I'm bored, and I move on to something else, right? It happens. But that's the thing with sports, though, is, you have your seasons, your off seasons and stuff. So it's like, it's different. And Formula One, though, too, is there's so much to it that I found out actually too later, because I saw, I was just reading some stuff and saw an article about ADHD and Formula One, and then it was like more and more. And they say it's like one of the best sport ADHD. So that right there too was like, oh, sweet, perfect, But yeah, so I don't know what happened. And it seems like whenever I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to watch, let's say rugby or something. I'm going to try and get into rugby. So then I'd research when it's on, and it's like, okay, it's not season right now. It's not for 3 more months. So then I'm like, well, fuck. Well, I'm not watching rugby. So, and then time comes and goes, and I forget, and, that's just kind of how it is. But
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So, hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode.
I love racing movies. You know what I mean? I always loved Driven, Sylvester Stallone, which I haven't seen in forever. Thought that was a great movie. Dude, Ford versus Ferrari is badass. Rush is awesome. Talladega Nights, it's all awesome. So I could never get into NASCAR though. I tried a couple times. I remember I worked with a guy he was a NASCAR nut. And he just kept saying, you got to go to a race. You got to go to one and see it in person. Once you do, then you'll get it and it'll make sense. Which I never did. But it just I don't know, they just go in circles. I don't know, just seemed boring to me, And I didn't know. I thought IndyCar and Formula One, I probably wouldn't mix them up. I didn't know the difference, for a while. But the cars were so. The thing I like about NASCAR is you're still driving, you're shifting and you're driving, or even rally car, you're shifting and everything. So Formula One, it was just it was little spaceships and little, PlayStation controller steering wheels. I don't know, that part of it didn't appeal to me that much. You know what I mean? So I never kind of was I don't know. But I don't know how I just decided, I'm you know what? I'm going to watch racing. I'm going to get into racing. I think it was just because Formula One's on right now. I think I checked it and it was Formula One, well, it started in March, but, so I'm, it's at the beginning of it, so I can actually watch it. So I looked up how I can watch it, and be in sports. It's actually pretty cheap. I can pay and I can watch, the races. So I'm going to watch my first live race, tomorrow. And I'm excited. I mean, it's not the race, it's the Q, right? They call it Q1, 2, and 3. Well, it's Q1 and 2, and then Saturday is 3, and then the where they race the quickest times to find their positions. I can't think of what it's called right now. And then Sunday is the race. And the other thing too that always kind of makes UFC and or football a problem for me is it by the time it comes on, it's 3 a.m. or something like that. So it's I don't know. And the races for Formula One are all in the evening time. One there's one that's at 11, which is not. It's the last Q. I think that's what they call it, right? Q. See, I'm still learning, so. But then I can watch the first 2, little practice. They call them Q things or something. Anyway, and then I can qualifying. There we go. That's what the word I was trying to think of. And then but there's one of those that's kind of late, and then the qualifying's at a decent time, and then the race will be at a decent time for me. So it actually kind of works out, and so I paid for this subscription, which is basically the only way to watch all the Formula One races. Like they have satellite and various cable services and stuff here, but it didn't seem like those were reliable as far as that goes. So this was like the only thing I could see. I have to watch it on my Mac in my room, which I would like to watch it in the living room, but at least for now, anyway. But anyway, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give Formula One a shot. So I paid for the subscription, which, like I said, is actually pretty cheap. And so there I go. So I get on the subscription and I start watching some highlights. I watched the last race from, the last one where McLaren and what's his face, Lando Norris won. And I was like watching it, and it's like it's cool, but I just didn't know what was really going on. Really, you know what I mean? And then I watched some rally car too, the World Rally, the WRC. Is that what it is? I think, yeah. That shit looks fun. Like that, like Formula One is like amazing, and it's fun to watch, and everything, the drama, the politics, and just kind of, and you just never know what's going to happen, But rally car, like I would like to drive rally. I think that'd be fun to drive. Like I wouldn't want to drive Formula One. I mean, if they're like, hey, you want to give it a shot and drive it around the track once? Yeah, I would try. I'd go slow as hell, but but rally car would be like, that'd be fun. But anyway, so I watched a rally race, which was a lot of fun. And then, so yeah, was like, okay, well, I need to figure out, I want to kind of be ready for the next race, for the next Formula One, right? So like I said, I watched the last one without really knowing what's going on, been researching some stuff, and as an American, who football and whatever, you pick a team, right? That's kind of where it goes. Like for me in football, Minnesota Vikings is my team, and basically whoever comes and goes, you love them, and when they go, you hate them. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it is. I mean, some people are fans of players, which I guess I was too. I always rooted for somebody if they left, if I liked them, but I stayed loyal to Minnesota. So I'm thinking the same thing with Formula One, right? So before I even watched the last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever the last race was, and I had only, it was Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. Those were the only teams that I knew just from me living in the world and not really paying attention. You know what I mean? And the only drivers was Lewis Hamilton. He's the only one that I knew. And then I started like following on Facebook, and then all of a sudden Max Verstappen, is that how you say his name? Then all of a sudden I start seeing him everywhere. And so I was like, I pull up, the page, because I'm like, okay, I got to pick a team. Well, immediately I'm not picking Ferrari because I don't like red. I've never really been into Ferrari. So Ferrari's out. Don't care. I didn't even realize Mercedes was a team. I guess now I know that they've, won the last 7 with Lewis Hamilton. Aston Martin, I think it's cool. I like Aston Martin. So I was like, okay, maybe Aston Martin will be my team, right? Haas, I don't know, what is that? Williams, okay. Then you got Sauber, Alpine, or they say Alpine. So immediately the first team I'm thinking is kind of McLaren because that's kind of who I know. And so that's what I'm kind of thinking, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe McLaren. So I'm kind of looking. And my son was kind of hanging out with me too a little bit. That's like who he's picked. I think because they're orange. He likes the orange. But I'm not a big fan of orange, right? So obviously men are very visual. So it's like, okay, so I'm thinking McLaren, right? But then visually, I'm looking. I'm like, it's all right. Orange is fine. I was like, Red Bull looks cool. Has, I always say Haas, but Has and Williams. Those three visually are appealing to me, right? So that's kind of what I'm going with right there. So I'm like, okay, so maybe McLaren. And I'm thinking like, okay, so Red Bull, I'm not a big bandwagon. Like I'm always for the underdog. So I'm thinking Red Bull, I'm like, they're the ones that are popular now. They're the ones that are winning. So, and at this point in time, I know that, Max and Red Bull have won like 3 out of the last, because they've had 4 races, I think. I want to say he won 3. And then, like I said, McLaren won the last one. So I'm like, I don't know. I like to pick people that are kind of underdogs. So, but then, again, established. You want like kind of established. So you got Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, and then I learned later, Williams, obviously. So anyway, I was kind of going back and forth and like trying to figure out, and I was researching the different drivers and everything, and I was starting to watch things on YouTube and whatever. And then, like, I had completely forgotten, or I don't know if I just didn't realize it, but so I read an article or I watched a video where a guy is like, if you're new to Formula One or Formula E, watch the Netflix show, the Formula One. I can't think of what it's called right now. You'll get to kind of see the teams and some of the drivers and everybody, and then you can kind of get an idea who you like and everything like that. So I was like, okay, so I started watching that, and dude, I am fucking hooked. I'm on like the 4th season right now. Just started the 4th season, I think. Let me see. What am I at? Yeah, season 4, episode 4. So, I'm watching that, and as I watch the show too, the Red Bull car just looks awesome. Like visually, Red Bull is my favorite one on the show, and then plus on the show doesn't look like how the cars look this year. You know what I mean? I mean, Red Bull's pretty similar. Like they don't really change much, which I think is good because it always looks good. Ferrari, Red Bull, they always kind of look the same. I guess same with McLaren. They got the orange. So Aston Martin used to be Point Blank, and then the Force India or whatever. That's the other thing too, is like I didn't want to pick a team or kind of follow a team or root for a team that was going to change. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and then you got the MasterCard, whatever stupid name they have. I don't know. Alpine. I don't know. So then I researched more, and then Haas is the only American owned team. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to kind of, follow them a little bit. And then Williams was like, they've been around forever, right? But they've just been like at the bottom for forever, and then the bottom right now. So I'm like, you know what? I think so. So it kind of moved around a lot, but basically right now it's like I'm liking Red Bull, and then Haas and Williams kind of as well. You know what I mean? Like I want Williams to win because they're the underdog. Haas because they're American, and Red Bull I like Red Bull. And then as I'm watching the show, like at first I didn't like the Max Verstappen You know what I mean? So I was kind of thinking like, I'm not going to probably be in a Red Bull. And I think like a lot of people, I started liking Daniel Ricciardo, but he's kind of a flopper. Like he switched teams like pretty quick. So now he's with the Master Visa. What do they call it? Oh, I'm clicking on it right here. So you got, Visa Cash App Red Bull Formula One team, which is kind of like the lower Red Bull. So Daniel Ricciardo, he's kind of getting towards the end of his career, I guess. I don't know how right now he's kind of sucking. He's with McLaren on the show that I'm, on season 4. But, so I like that dude. And the two guys that are with, then with Red Bull, I actually ended up really liking the Max Verstappen guy. So that's what I kind of was like, okay, you know what? I like him. And I really like what's his face that's the team manager. I can't think of his name. I'm horrible with names, but if you watch the show, you know who he is. So I kind of, I like them. I liked the Italian dude that was Renault, but then they're not there anymore. And I like Haas, but now they don't have what's his face, and then they got the new guy, so I don't know how that's going to be. And then Williams, I guess they got rid of the actual Williams woman who was kind of in charge of it, so it'll be interesting to see, where that goes. But like with Ferrari, their drivers, I really like their drivers. I'm just not into Ferrari, man. And Lewis Hamilton, man, he bugs me. Like, he's a little pansy. I don't know. I don't like him. And so I'm glad that, I guess he's going to Ferrari. So that doesn't bother me at all. Plus, he's on towards the end of his whatever. So I didn't realize that Mercedes, though, was as dominant, has been as dominant as they have been. Although, I guess Red Bull won last year. I don't know who won before that, though. I guess we'll find out. I think I'll find out with season 4 at the end of the show. So once I started watching the show, I quit kind of researching because I don't want to ruin the show, and then who's the other guy? So the thing, like, I found out was like Lewis Hamilton, I didn't give a shit if he won or lost. I don't know. The ones that, like, I remember watching and just being like, oh, kind of heartbroken when they wrecked or whatever was, where's he at? Alexander Albon. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's Thailand, I think. But he comes, like, his first Formula One is with Red Bull, and then he got let go. But right now he's with Williams. So I want him to do well. And then who else was it? Oh, it was the Haas. So you got Kevin Magnussen, and then the French guy that, I don't know if you've seen it, but the guy that, like, I totally thought he was, probably like everyone else, thought he was done. His car, they wrecked his car and it ripped in half. Big ball of fire, and you're like, there's no way, dude. He's done. He's gone. Unless he got thrown or something, And, they try and not show you much because it's television and try and make it, But, so that was kind of crazy. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I really want Haas to win. Williams, I would like to win, but I'm like, I don't know. They don't show much of them. It seems like the show is all about the top 4, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes. Those are the ones that they kind of show the most, which I guess, makes sense. But anyway, so that's kind of, that's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing. I've been watching that Netflix show like crack, and then just trying to stay busy, and then, get ready. So tomorrow, for me, the first practice is tomorrow night, so I'll watch that because I want to watch it all and just kind of really experience the whole, because I mean, watching an old show and then watching highlights is different, so I'm really interested in to see. But yeah, I'm getting close to where things are now. But like I said, I guess Lewis Hamilton is going to be with Ferrari. I saw something that Alexander Albon is staying with Williams, which everybody was like, what? And I saw a thing on Facebook where it was just like so many drivers are let go from the team. So everything I'm looking at right now is just this year's team, but 2025 is going to be completely different. So it'll be interesting. But so that's what's kind of weird though. So, the drivers like just they come and go like crazy. It's not like, I mean, you have like undrafted individual or free agent individuals in football and whatever that may come for a season and then leave or whatever. But generally, you have people and they stay there for a while. You know what I mean? So it seems like with Formula One, it's basically like 2 years is about the average contract that they sign. But then even with that, like I don't know if they end up sucking, they can get rid of them. Like I haven't figured that out yet. But it's crazy. It's the whole thing is it's cool because I mean, yeah, I guess Mercedes won. I mean, you can't, Lewis Hamilton. He's an awesome driver. I don't like him. From what I mean, and it's kind of unfair. Netflix can paint him in that kind of whatever, but I don't really care for him. But it'll be, oh man, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to, like I said, Mercedes has been winning, kind of like, they were kind of like the Patriots, back in the day, or any team, I guess. But, so they're kind of, now it's looking like Red Bull's coming back. But it would be kind of cool to see Haas, see, I always want to say Haas, I don't know why. Haas and Williams win something. Like, I'm really going to root for them. Like, I think Red Bull's my team as of right now. Like, that's kind of what I'm going with. But I'm also going to be rooting for, well, I guess you can have multiple teams, right? Williams and Haas. But then, like, if, what's his face? I don't know, the Pierre Gasly guy, he seems pretty cool and he's pretty good. Like if he was to win, I'd be, oh, cool. I'd be like, it's kind of crazy. Like you almost, a lot of people I've noticed in like forums and this and that, like, because other people have asked the same question, like when I was first looking into it was, how do you figure out like who's your team and driver and this and that? And they're like, you can't really, you're just a fan of Formula One, which I can see that, but at the same time, you want to root and be excited for somebody. So, I don't know. Like, I always want to, like, on some of those forums, they're like, oh, dude, you're a fan of the Formula One. There is no team or one driver or one team, you know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, but if you could only pick one jersey or hoodie or hat or whatever from one team to wear, who would it be? You know what I mean? And then you kind of see really who and they probably pick like Ferrari or McLaren or something. So I did see a poll where McLaren is like the most popular team. His poll was like, what did it say? From 187 countries took part in the survey. And number one brand, hold on, no, blah, 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 where's it at? Okay, fans were asked to select their 5 favorite races. Oh, okay, yeah. Monza, Spa, Silverstone, okay. All right. McLaren have risen to the top of the pile when fans were asked to name their favorite team. So I guess that's the most popular one. I guess because their history and everything. And then Red Bull, then Ferrari. And then Mercedes was third, now fourth. Probably because just people got tired of it, I'm guessing. And then Aston Martin has gotten pretty popular. And then obviously Max Verstappen. He's the number one, most popular one right now. And then second is Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton was number one in the UK, of course. But man, he just seems like, I don't know, I don't like the dude. And that was the thing too, is like I didn't want to kind of start following a driver that's about to retire, you know. So I think, you know, it was, so Lewis Hamilton was like, I mean, there was a few of them that were pretty good, that won a lot, but Lewis Hamilton obviously is like the Michael Jordan, I guess you could say, of Formula One. And then before that, man, I'd have to look. I mean, because Schumacher, that was early 2000s. So there's, I don't know. But anyway, so I'm thinking Max Verstappen. He's going to be the next one, it looks like, because he seems to be pretty badass. But we'll see. I'm excited though. I'm excited to find something to possibly be passionate about. You know what I mean? So anybody listening to this, are you a Formula One fan? Let me know. Who's your team or driver or whatever. Plus, also, like, I remember hearing about Niki Lauda before, and then in the movie Rush, though, like he was awesome. I thought his character, well, not his character, but him as a person, and I guess what's his face did a pretty good job. But I liked his fucking. He didn't sugarcoat nothing. He didn't, you know, he just said whatever. And I don't know. I thought it was awesome. So I liked him much better than Hunt, James Hunt. And, you know, I think everybody, I mean, because Nicky is like, he's, you know, royalty, or was, he, you know, passed away. But anyway, so it's pretty cool. Lots of history. I think once the season is over, I'll dive into the history more. I don't want to kind of overdo it. I got the show going, and then, you know, so. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, if anybody's a Formula One fan, hit me up. Let me know. I don't know. And that's kind of about it, I guess. I knew it was going to be a long episode. I was right. Almost 40 minutes. So anyway, so thanks for listening. Hope everybody's doing great. And if you're not a Formula One fan, man, give it a shot. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. At least watch the show on Netflix. I think that might, I'm sure whoever thought of doing that should get promoted, because I bet you it brought in a lot of fans. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.